the recording, and then I will just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Okay.
Alright, so let's rewatch that. Reinhardt gets low, he kind of dives in. So, in this situation, right, Mercy is critical, you see that, and you have a choice. Either we can heal Reinhardt or we can heal Mercy. So when it comes to who we should heal, and who we should be looking at and putting our attention to, very important factor is danger level. And that's just a big and all important thing, because you can be 1 HP and not in danger. Like if Mercy is 1 HP and she just goes like boop, now nothing can kill her and she's perfectly safe. Versus you can be full HP and in the middle of their entire team and very much in danger. So in this situation, who's in more danger between Reinhardt and Mercy?
It would be Reinhardt. Yeah.
Yeah, because Mercy, once again, she can just get around the corner. She has self-healing. Reinhardt's in the middle of getting stunned and shot at by the entire team. This would probably be a good opportunity for like an immortality. But we kind of turn our attention away to look at the Mercy when it was kind of just like a lucky Hanzo arrow that hit her.
Okay.
So then the delayed lamp comes in. That just means we're down the ability.
Watch yourself. My turn.
Okay, something minor. Watch the spam jumping. Spam jumping is just going to be a bad habit where you go jump, 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 jump. That makes it easier for people to headshot you, as when you go up, you have to come down. It makes it a very easily trackable animation. So essentially, you're going to get headshot more when you're just jumping all the time. So save jumping for when it's needed.
Gotcha.
And then I'm also going to have something else I'm kind of eyeing up at the moment. Alright, I'm noticing a lot of... this is kind of separate from another topic I'm probably going to talk about soon, but I'm noticing a lot of your shots are just getting spammed out when they're not going to do anything. Like, for example, you're kind of holding down both buttons at the same time, which isn't always a bad option. That kind of maximizes your fire rate on both of them, right? But we'll be shooting at the enemy team and then just chucking in right clicks into them. Like here, you can see how we're not really shooting anything in particular with those left clicks. We're not even looking at anybody. Then we're shooting people and shooting right clicks into nothing. So we end up just wasting a lot more ammo than we could. And then, in fact, that's just messing with our fire rate so that we're not as effective with it. So I'd recommend against just spamming when it's going to not actually do anything for you.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I have a bad habit of jumping and then doing all this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, we keep backing pretty far up behind this corner, like we're going all the way over here when like the team's up there, rather than just like short hugging the corner, because we're getting largely the same amount of cover, right? Like if the enemy team's there, we can do this and they can't see us. We don't need to be all the way at the back end of the choke, which just puts us closer to our team. Potentially, we could also be like doing something like this and getting over to here, where once again, we're closer to our team. Why would we want to be closer to our team as Baptiste?
So that I could have more range. I could see them better. I could heal them easier. I could also shoot the enemies too.
Yeah, Baptiste has a lot of reasons why to his team, he is a close range character. To the enemy team, he's like mid range, but to his team, he's a close range character because your shift has a 10-meter radius, which is close ranged.
Mm-hmm.
Your healing, right? When you shoot healing shots, that is in a projectile, which inherently projectiles are more difficult to land at ranges because you have to predict where people are moving. And then also on top of that, you're going to be healing people faster because there's less travel time, so people get healing sooner. So there's less delays when people are low. Same thing with immortality. It's also a projectile, more accuracy. It also means that if Reinhardt's dying a mile away from you, he's gonna get that immortality sooner when you're closer to him. And then also it becomes easier for you to give your ultimate to your teammates. So that's like 4 different reasons right there why Baptiste wants to be as close to the team as possible. And we're kind of like backing up. Like, notice how we don't really have angles on our tanks at the moment.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I was way too far back there.
Heroes never die.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Okay. It didn't seem as though we really noticed the Hanzo, who's critical, right? Make sure keeping our eyes open. We can see it and hear it, right? We see Genji. We see people shooting down the hallway. We can see him through the wall here. We see critical. We see Genji dash in that direction. We can hear Hanzo shooting. So there's a dozen different things on our screen and in our ears that are telling us Hanzo's in danger. And if we just turn here and start running this way, we might actually be able to help. Possibly, it's not a guarantee, but it's probably a good idea, especially when our team should be backing up anyways.
I'm keeping tabs on you.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oopsie.
Sorry.
So, a little bit of a delayed immortality after they already missed the shatter. If he does land the shatter, then it's not a rush anyways, and then it's a little bit like he's not really in danger at the moment. He's full HP, full shield.
Right. Yeah, I just had like a habit, and whenever I hear it, I just like it's just. It's just dangerous. I throw the lamp, but
Yep.
yeah.
Except for when he misses it, then it's no longer dangerous, right? So,
Right.
just good idea to hold on to it. Then you have the cooldown. Additionally, if we were throwing this lamp, with lamp, you want to use the same principles of positioning as you yourself would. And that is good positioning is the usage of cover, and bad positioning is the absence of cover. So if you're throwing lamp right here, they go pew pew bang bang, and lamp is dead in 0.5 seconds. But if you were to throw lamp right here, right around this corner, well then they can't see the lamp, and it extends its duration much longer. Right? It means that it's doing its job, except for they just can't destroy it nearly as easily. So make sure you're using cover. Cover's all over the place. You can use corners, doorways, pillars. You can use shields. You can, there's a lot of different ways to do that to extend the life of lamp.
Okay. Yep.
I'm keeping tabs on
Yeah, your team stayed in way too long.
Yeah.
We're down 2 people there.
I'm taking care.
Right now, probably would be a decent time to be ulting, right? Notice, so when it comes to Bap ult, right, the best time to be ulting is, I guess let me reverse this. What is the easiest thing to do to counter Bap ult that every single character in the game has?
Just you mean like to line aside it?
Yeah, they use cover, right?
Yeah.
Bap ult, they pop Bap ult, boop, can't see me, right? You're good.
Mhm.
So therefore, if that's the easiest counter to Bap ult, when would you want to be Bap ulting?
When they're committed to the fight
When they don't have cover, right?
and they don't have cover, yeah.
Yeah. So right now, is their entire team, is anybody near cover?
Yeah. Cassidy's behind cover. And Reinhardt's got his shield.
Shield wouldn't be counted as cover because of the fact that it can be melted really fast with BAP. I'm talking kind of a little bit more like solid objects because you can't shoot through those, but you guys can shred through shield.
Okay, yeah, in that case, yeah, then Reinhardt and Cassidy are exactly like behind cover. And I guess Zarya, I guess she's a little bit
Well, it
behind cover.
depends on where you're putting lamp. If you're, or sorry, not lamp, words, window,
Yeah.
right? If you're putting window
Yeah.
back here, well then yeah, she's around the corner. But if you put window here, well then
Mhm.
where is she gonna go, right? It takes her 2 seconds to get to the nearest bit of cover,
Oh,
right?
that's true. Yeah.
Ana, same thing. She's really far away from the nearest cover is this way, and that's gonna take her once again like 2 seconds, right? So this would be a great place to be using ult. Now, what's the problem with if we were to try to ult right now?
Right now, they could just like move away from it.
Well, we just discussed that that's not the case. It's the
I thought-
opposite, where they can't really move away from it too
Okay.
easily. So more so, look at yourself here. What's the issue if we tried ult this moment?
Let's see.
They're gonna be easy from
Alright,
this
let's
angle.
I guess not from this specific angle. No, it wouldn't be easy for me. I'd like to just melt them with melt.
Yeah, probably would be much better if we were once again closer.
Very
'Cause
close, right?
once again, if we were like right here with our team, well, this isn't super dangerous. We have our tanks right in front of our face. We,
Mhm.
if we need to, we have cover on left. We have shield. We have this little thingamabob, right? And then we just curve to the right for half a second. Boop, ult, and then we're good, right?
Okay.
So closer, looking for ult would be this would be a great time for it.
Right, yeah. I have a bad habit of holding on to it like for too long.
Yeah.
That's just something I have to recognize. Like when to like use the ult to its full potential is what I definitely have to improve on.
And that's definitely one of the big things is when they're all away from cover. But just generally with timing of ultimates are typically, not generally speaking, not all any in all cases and not all ultimates, but generally speaking, ults are best used at the start of fights. Then mid fight is okay to use your ult. Late fight is usually situational, and then in between fights is usually gonna be very rare. Do you want to be ulting? But typically the best time is just at the very start of the fight, which would be now, right when the both teams are kind of right about to collide.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Notice our own lack of cover usage, right? So, if we're getting high noon by McCree, how long is it going to take us to get to the nearest bit of cover?
Like a few seconds.
Yeah, a few seconds. So that general positioning, right, is like we just discussed. Good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the
You're
absence of
dying on
cover.
my watch.
If pausing while I get to position, if I'm standing right here, and the enemy team is standing right here, and they all start shooting at me, right, it's going to take me multiple seconds. 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover, right? But if I'm right here, well, now it takes me half a second. The McCree starts high nooning, boop, McCree can't see me, I'm safe. And then that also can stop you from killing your teammates too if you're charging, if you're hiding behind Brian's shield. Then say that applies to all damage, and there's a lot of cover all over the place. You have corners, you have pillars in between shots when you're reloading, that sort of thing. You have random objects like the payload that you can use. High grounds all act as natural cover, so they can see you. Now they can't. So cover's all over the place. Just want to make sure we're looking to use it both with immortalities by throwing it around the corner from people, and then also just yourself as well, playing near cover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now entering ready for battle.
Damn. So we're throwing it. it's a little bit... So, two things. Well, firstly, McCree is not going to be... Once again, it's very early, because McCree is not going to be pressing high noon and then immediately shooting half a second after he presses it. Right? He has a charge up. So, same thing with, like... I guess not the same thing as Reinhardt. Reinhardt ult is very delayed. This one is 2 sped up, right? We're using it before he could possibly even be shooting, which means that we're just rushing it when we could take a couple extra seconds to place it, right? Even like he's at minimum, he's charging up for 2 seconds, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So here we rush it, and then now that means that we only get 4 of us, and then that means that Reinhardt ends up dying. Did he charge? It looks like he charged, or maybe maybe I missed that.
Oh, my Ryan. I think so.
Yeah. So, in any case, probably would be a good idea. No, never mind. He just got destroyed.
Yeah.
This is just the animation.
Yeah. I should have used my window there. I just held it on for too long. Yeah.
Yep. And then what ends up happening is when it's not used, well then, when it's not used early, well then they could just win the fight before you get a chance. Their ults just naturally get more value. Notice how that fight, right, they just came in and they just popped all their ults and they just won, like they kind of rolled over you guys. So ults that are used first, no, they just naturally get more value than ults that are used second, excuse me. So that just means that you want to use them first because you'll do more with them, generally speaking.
Right.
All right. Okay. So Genji comes in with the blade. As soon as you throw down that,
He just destroys it.
he one-tapped it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You should be charging up a crouch as soon as you see that and hear that, because that's a very easy way to get away from him. Right? It's just jumping straight up in the air. So as soon as you hear him, you can throw down the immortality as you're charging it up, and then leap away as soon as Immor's dead. But we kind of sit around a little too long.
Yeah, I think I was about to, but yeah, just delay it.
Okay. Once again, probably could be ulting. There you go. That's pretty good positioning. The problem is that they are a little far pushed forwards here.
Light them up.
Yeah, Reinhardt just pushes through it. Trying to think. It's possible you could have pulled it back slightly, like as your team's backing up, to put some space between you guys, but I think that's okay. That's definitely not bad of an ult. As long as we keep our Reinhardt alive. That's a terrible pin, Ryan. Where are you going? He was so... No, he still died. And then he fire striked when he was 1 HP. Alright. Yeah, still seeing kind of those spam shots.
Regen burst activated.
Огонь по готовности.
Regen burst
You
activated.
look over, Zarya's 1 HP. I think that's a fine immortality.
Getting the immortality.
Okay, once again, notice how we're really far away from our teammates, whereas maybe something like this might put us a little bit closer, right, while also still giving us cover to use, yeah, I mean, something along those lines, but just really far away from our team.
Yeah, I gotta use the cover.
All better. Now.
Okay.
The payload is approaching.
Pick yourself up. Dust yourself up. Regen up.
Alright, not a lot you can do after that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so one other thing I've seen kind of littered throughout the game. I wouldn't say that it is utterly horrendous as I've seen with like some other players doing this, but it is still there. I would say probably a little bit less frequently than kind of the spam shots. But that is overhealing, and overhealing is essentially just anytime you are healing somebody and they're already full HP or very close to full HP and it's not a priority. So why this is bad is it means that you're wasting ammo, which once again, same thing with just spamming shots. If you are forced to reload or don't have ammo, well then that's firstly just wasting your time because you're reloading more than you actually need to be, which is time that you could be doing other things. Then secondly, it means that you could just run out of ammo at the wrong time throughout your dozens and dozens of games that you're playing. You could maybe it's just twice a game, but twice a game you run out of ammo when you actually need the ammo, right?
Right.
And in those situations, that could be solved by not spamming it and not overhealing. And it also is just flat up wasted time. It's just time that you're doing absolutely nothing during, where you could be doing something that gets you more value. So something like looking for somebody else to heal. Just an easy one is just damage during that time. Just if there's nobody, if that person's full HP, if there's nobody to heal, just shoot. Using abilities, using looking around you, using your ultimate, things like that. And then also note that even if somebody's like 90% good on HP, sometimes it can still be considered overhealing because do they really need that like 10, 20 HP when somebody else is lower, or you could be shooting, or you could be reloading? It just becomes, is 10 HP, is 20 HP, is 50 HP worth it when there are other things that are higher value to do, right? And then if there are other things that you could be doing, then that's just overhealing.
Gotcha.
All right. Glad to hear it. So that one's just a habit that's kind of, in the background.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot.
Typically, you see it more at the kind of poke phases of fights, because now people are actually taking damage. So Reinhardt's been 1 HP here. Also, we placed Immortality Field. Let's see, how do we place that one? Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, a little bit out in the open, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fully healed.
Yeah, they just pushed us in so hard here.
Your left clicks seem real like shaky, and we end up missing a lot of shots. So recommendations for practicing at that would be, firstly, more you're playing is going to be best. But also, while you another idea would be while you're in queue. Do you typically do like a warm up while you're queuing up, or before you queue?
Yeah, I try to. I looked up a YouTube video of like the aiming like workshop. I try to do that. Where there's like a Pharah and Mercy flying around, and like they're all like strafing bots. I try to do that, but I definitely still have to improve my aim. It's still a little shaky at most parts.
My recommendation would probably be try hard free for all, as that's a very it's a competitive environment. Where you're playing against actual players for which I find superior because you're actually being shot back at, and they are moving how actual people would move, and they're making extra decisions in their gameplay, like to grab the health pack and to climb the wall and to etc. etc. It just makes it much more realistic. It helps you learn how to duel people and how to manage duels, but it also makes it so that the only priority is your mechanics and you going pew pew and shooting. So I find that it's a very good place to practice and warm up. I might recommend that over, but I also don't find it like it's not bad to use the workshop. I just think that there are like it's a little bit better of a method. Um, and
Okay, yeah,
then
I can give that a shot. Yeah.
and then additionally, what is your current sensitivity and DPI at?
I think in game my sensitivity is it's 0.500 or 0.5, and my DPI
Sorry,
is.
it's 0.5, like 0.5.
I need to check really quick.
That's a very low sensitivity. My.
I tried to make it the same as it was in Valorant. I couldn't really.
Mhm.
Okay, no, it's 5. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's 5. Okay, okay.
5. Yeah. My DPI is 800, I believe.
Okay, so that's not too bad of one.
Yeah.
It just seems a little jittery. So I would try to just slow down your movements a little bit and like you have the shots all in the right place, but we seem to be like dragging left to right unnecessarily.
Right.
Like, no,
Yeah. I see.
do you see that? Like how we're kind of going side to side, side to side when she's kind of standing still.
Yeah, it's just something I need to work on. Yeah.
Okay, notice our whole team switched up. We're kind of still sitting in spawn. Now they're about to, we could be using ult here, but we're like all the way around this back corner, which is going to mean that we're not actually able to, once again, we're out of our range. Our preference range with teammates is medium range, so that probably means about 10 meters from them, right? And that's the range of your shift, and that's probably why. So that would, right now we're like, eyeballing it from Anna like 30 meters, from Ryan like 40 meters ish, right? So that's way outside of the range that we should be playing in. So preferably we'd be playing more like here, right? Because then we can do all the same stuff, except for now we're just in better positioning and we're able to participate.
Okay.
You all look like you needed some healing. You're fully healed.
Okay. Once again, could be using ult at any point here, but yeah. Now. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely did it like a little bit late.
Note our current lack of positioning, and we're kind of smack dab in the middle point at the moment, which causes us to place immortality, which, as of the current moment, is there a necessity for immortality?
Right now, no. Yeah, I just panicked.
Yeah. So, make sure once again we're watching for the requirement for immortality is danger, right? Are we in danger of dying? And once again, being low isn't can indicate danger, but it's not always indicative of danger. It usually does affect it though. But again, you diving isn't immediate death in a lot of cases, right? So give it an extra half second to think, am I gonna die? On an easy right away, okay, we're good, right? So just put the brakes, the stops on it for half a second, and then we actually do need it 1 second later when we're in a grab.
Yeah, I got pinned. But that makes sense.
But yeah, also standing off rather than sitting smack dab in points, standing off to the side a little bit probably would help us not get grabbed there. Okay, notice how Reinhardt kind of walks out here. I guess we're trying to look at the Genji, I suppose. Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, we're trying to keep Genji alive. Did they get a? Oh, they deflected it. Let's see. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. Okay. about to say, they got grav really fast.
Yeah, no, this is a disaster. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Oh my god.
Oof.
Oh.
Okay, kind of held on to lamp there. When we could have been using it on those guys.
Yeah.
You know. They're all in the corner there. Probably, you know, good idea.
Yeah, behind cover, 100%, yeah.
We also potentially we could have lamped and then tossed down our ultimate for both the double healing as well as being able to shoot, you know, kind of put through oppressive fire on anybody coming in.
Yeah, I have to use my ult like for healing more too, because I'm always like I gotta kill people through it, but
Yeah,
I definitely need to use it more defensively.
Yeah, which
Sometimes.
most of the time you're going to use it for your team, and then like it's not like a hard number, but I'd say like 60% of the time you use for your team, 20% of the time you use for like solo healing as the objective, and then like 20% of the time you use it for like solo damage as the objective. Roughly speaking, it'll, you know, that's just, it's not hard and fast numbers, but that's just roughly how I would see it. So, you know, just, you know, once in a while, that probably would be a good idea for it. I just said, you know, like 10 times within the past minute.
No, no worries, man. I'm the same.
Okay, kind of wasted shift usage, right? Notice how, firstly, it's line of sight, so we're out of line of sight of all of them.
Yeah.
Secondly, nobody is really in need of it, right? Also, I think they might be out of range of it at the moment, right? So, with your shift usage, either you should be low, you know, the three main primary uses are you need healing, group needs healing, or someone needs burst healing. Like just an extra oomph for the healing, and in this case, none of them really apply.
Yeah, I see now.
All better.
So, probably would be a great time for ult once again. Just we can place it right around here at this, you know, if we're just pushing forwards, place it right around here. Means that they have to back up, give up space. Notice how a lot of them are very far away from cover. And we could probably catch a few people off guard with it, right? And then once again, it's also early fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the best time to use it.
Okay. Placement. Okay, look at this where Genji and Zarya can kill it versus this where nobody can really kill it, right?
Right, yeah,
And
behind cover.
it still hits the same amount of people. Once again, still holding on the ultimate. Just remembering that ults that aren't used don't do anything. And then now this is what you'd call an overall. So basically watch kill feed. Kill feed shows you when you're up or down people, and that's how you tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight. 1 to 2 people being up or down 1 to 2 people, that is an advantage or a disadvantage, in which case you play more aggro or more passive, usually. Then 2 to 3 people is a won fight or a lost fight, where you get really aggressive in a one fight, or in a lost fight, you get out if you can, and if you can't get out, you let them kill you. And then in both cases, you do not use your ultimate. So here, where it is 2v6, right? We see 4 dead in the kill feed. This is an overwhelmingly one fight, and that means that we just shouldn't be ulting because we've already won. So what's the point? It's just gonna waste the ultimate.
Yeah, I just wasted it.
Yeah. So you know, watch kill feed. Watch just what's in front of you as well. Definitely not needed here. It wasn't needed, like, you know, 4 seconds before we used it.
Yeah, I'm always like overthinking, like, should I use it now? Should I use it now? Then it's like too late. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bad habit.
activated.
Okay. Notice the shift usage once again.
Regen burst activated.
Kind of, nobody really needs. So like they're both in front of us. We can probably just normal heal them anyways. Just a cooldown that we kind of misused there.
Okay.
Doesn't really check off any of the 3 boxes.
Get in here. Get in the immortality field.
Okay, good heals. Notice how we're putting like 30 meters between us and the fight once again.
Let them up.
Uh-oh, notice how we ran out of ammo. Maybe that could have been so... I wasn't particularly paying attention during the fight, but we probably wasted a couple of shots. And then that means that now we just don't have
Let
it.
them up.
Yeah, a bit of preloading there.
Fire at will.
I'm on fire. Shoot to heal. All better. Get in here. Regen burst activated.
Okay, so Reinhardt here, he's really far pushed forwards. Notice how far back we are in comparison to just our whole team is kind of pushing. We don't have to be as far up as Reinhardt, but maybe somewhere like Zarya, right? It might be a little bit more of a middle ground.
Get in here.
This is a little bit unfortunate. Notice how being so far back, it's just so inaccurate, like we were discussing. Reinhardt also isn't necessarily in active danger at the moment, and then we are because we just got bladed on. So having that probably would be helpful.
Yeah, he just came and destroyed us. Yeah.
Bubble down. Fight toe to toe, you coward. Got you good as new. How about a little extra here?
Okay. Uh-oh.
60 seconds.
When you are aiming at people, when you are going for your healing shots, not your damage shots, but when you're going for your healing shots on teammates, you should be aiming at their feet, not on the floor, because you want to be hitting the direct shots, because as you probably know, direct shots do more healing than splash shot healing shots, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be hitting direct shots, but if you're aiming at their bodies and you miss, then your bullet just goes sailing past them. But if you aim at the floor and you miss, or sorry, not their floor, their feet, and you miss, then you hit the floor, and then you do get splash damage even if you miss. So it means that you are still getting value even if you were to not get the maximum value. So it kind of raises the skill floor on it, I guess is the way you'd say that.
Oh, okay.
So that'd be my recommendation.
Yeah, I think more value out of it. Yeah, that makes sense.
And once again, probably could be using our ults, maybe placing it somewhere along cart here, right? Just in front of our Reinhardt, middle, between us and Zarya. Kind of the start of the fight. All sudden, you just don't get value. We've held on to our ultimate for maybe like 3-ish fights during this past game, right? And then if we hold on to, and then that's probably about like 2 ultimates, the extra ultimates we could have during this whole game if we're just using it more frequently. Just pressing the button means that we actually get to use more ults, which should be much more value. And yeah, that's about it.
Огонь по готовности.
Get in here.
Know that sometimes, even when somebody is being ulted upon, like even sometimes when somebody's caught in a grab or somebody gets shattered, it's not always an instant death, right? In this situation, even after we use immortality, typically a good measure of did immortality get value is did they ever dip to low HP, or were they ever in danger throughout the entire ultimate? Were they ever close to dying, and did immortality prevent that? That's a good measure of did immortality do anything. And in this situation, let's look at Reinhardt. Was Reinhardt ever in danger of dying?
No, I see he has like full HP. I think he had the Anonate too, so in that case he wasn't in danger.
There were only two people shooting at him, Ryan and Zarya. He had full shield, full health. He had bubble. He had you and Ana healing him. He had your entire team support. At that point, immortality just gets wasted as an ability when it's a really long cooldown. So you might not even have this when the next fight starts at the very beginning of it, when it could be needed.
Right, yeah.
Okay, overheal shots. Overhealing. Okay, probably could be. Oh, whoopsie, I skipped. Okay, in this situation, this is a situation where I probably would use it a bit more selfishly rather than putting it up for these guys, because these guys can only shoot at 2 people through it, but you can shoot at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people through it, right? So it just gives you a lot more options for you and Ana to heal and damage, versus your teammates who can really only shoot very limited amount of things. And the Reinhardt's about to walk around the corner anyways, so or he could potentially here. So it's really only getting, you can only hit one person, and then for you to shoot through it, to shoot a Genji, you'd have to get up here to do that. So in this situation, I definitely use it more selfishly, or not, not in a bad way, but use it for yourself.
Yeah.
Here where you'd be able to heal and damage much more effectively.
Yeah, I see. That would have been a lot better.
Yep.
Get in here.
Okay, I would note that with your damage it feels almost exclusively spammed. Like, whenever we're damaging people, the only times we're ever damaging is to just go pew pew bang bang into shields and tanks and down the kind of main front line, but we're never actually trying to get kills with our shots. That never seems like the intention. So my advice, if you're trying to get kills, is a couple things. Firstly, watch out for opportunities. Opportunities could be low health. Somebody who's low health. Who's low health on our screen right now?
Widow.
Widow, yep. Right. And then someone else is half HP. Who'd that be?
Who is that?
Or I guess
Anna.
people. Yeah, Ana.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else in window. Who's that?
Who's low HP on their side?
Yeah, on their side.
Oh, is that the Rhine?
Someone who's in your window is what I was saying.
The Moira,
right? So right now we have a ton of things we could be shooting at during this fight, and that's right now we also do have 2 people who are critical HP. So I'm not saying right now this instant, but I'm giving an example of how, like, whenever you just slow it down, you can see so many instances. Yet the only times we ever seem to be shooting, it's just into shields, right, and into the Reinhardt, and that's about it. And then so firstly, watch for opportunities, watch for people who are low, watch for people who are out of position, look to take duels with people. So if you see you can, get the drop on Widowmaker, maybe, Widowmaker's up here, you can just hop up to high ground real quick and duel her for a second. Maybe it's the start of the fight, you could potentially, throw down Immortality Field and just get the kill on her for free while she can't damage you. That sort of idea. Also, target priority. Target priority states you shoot at the easiest targets to kill, not the hardest targets to kill. who are the hardest targets to kill in Overwatch? That would be the tanks. Tanks have 2 to 3 times the health of other characters. They have armor, they have shields, they have tanking abilities. They are designed to be hard to kill, and therefore, you as Baptiste, who's not even that insanely high in DPS, are not going to be able to kill them very easily, and therefore you're going to be much better suited off shooting at the supports and the DPS, the characters who you can kill much easier. So that's a couple different tips. Is one, keep your eyes open for everybody else, look for opportunities, and actively look to shoot at other characters besides just tanks. And then make sure you're looking to keep good target priority and look for duels and things like that. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I have to be more aggressive and look for more opportunities, like you said, like the squishier targets. Yeah, I see.
Okay. Getting a little bit aggro on point. I don't think there's a necessarily a reason why we need to be on point at the moment. This just kind of puts us in harm's way when we probably could be better off sitting back, putting ourselves into the fray.
Good.
All better. Get in here.
Get immortality.
Immortality field destroyed.
Okay. What's the issue here?
Looks like I'm a little bit too far from my Ryan, and he just got melted down, and I wasn't able to heal him.
Yeah, we're way too slow to rotate, right? We should be right where we are right now 5 seconds ago, right? Back when Reinhardt was first pushing it. So we're just way too late in pushing around the corner because we can't see Reinhardt right now. He's out of line of sight. And then he just dies before we even get to see him, right? So we should be much further forward. That's probably one of the biggest positioning things I could say is just be closer. Stick with your team. You're a close range character to your team. And too often are we lagging behind 30 meters away. And that just means that we can't see people, and our whole kit is going to be reduced down where we can't do as much.
Okay, makes sense.
Fully healed.
10 seconds.
Move forward. It's not over yet.
Go, Ryan, go! Touch. And no one touch.
That was unfortunate. Yeah.
That's the yikes. Also, brain, window, that thing. I always mix the two up when I'm trying to talk about them. Another ult here would maybe be handy with just making them, it's scaring them to back off and letting your team do damage as they walk in, and your team is taking a ton of damage, so it might be handy to heal them as they're walking in, right? All that stuff.
Yeah, that could have been played out a lot better.
Ready.
Okay. How many people do we currently not have line of sight on?
About 2. Oh, well, Anna, Arissa, and Hanzo.
Yeah. Which Anna we could move around the corner, but if our whole team's pushing up there, it might be a good idea to put line of sight on them. Now that could be as simple as being here, or because then we can heal. We peek, a little bit around the corner. We can heal more. We could jump up here, and now we can see maybe things a little bit even better. But not to say that they're in great positioning at the moment, but you need to be able to see them so you can actually heal and help.
Okay.
Oh, they're doing the bashing thing.
You're fully healed.
Oh yeah, we just got annihilated here.
Have you considered a different kind of work? Get in here.
I don't know if we even noticed the passion went up.
I did not at all.
So keep your ears open. Audio awareness. Recommendations would be turn up normal volume if you're able to. Then if, or not, sorry, words aren't working, turn up your volume to a acceptable level because it's going to be different for everybody, so just make sure it's loud enough. Music volume, I would typically recommend turning that low or down as that can clutter with audio. And then finally, this is the most important one out of that, is make sure that on your, if you do not have the option on your headset, so check on your headset to see if you have surround sound enabled. And if you do not have it as an option on your headset, then you can come in use the in-game one, which is Dolby Atmos for headphones in-game.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yep, it directional audio cues is a very big part of gaming. Also, actively keep your ears open for footsteps and gunshots and ultimates and abilities, and we can see them shooting down at us and things like that, right?
Okay, makes
All right.
sense.
So we're going to go over the main points, do a quick review, and then wrap up from there for the session. So if we go over to Baptiste, ability usage, let's start off with that. Shift usage, you use it when you need healing, when group needs healing, when someone needs burst healing, and then also it's a 10-meter radius, right? So make sure that we're staying within range of it, typically, and then don't just pop it when nobody needs nothing, right? People need to be low to actually use it, right?
Right.
Then E, your immortality, use cover with it, place it around pillars and doorways and corners and whatnot. Make sure that we either one of two things. Either we were like way too delayed where, Reinhardt would shatter, miss, and then we would immortality like 3 seconds later. Right? Or there's the alternative where I would say more frequently we just rushed it way too fast when it wasn't needed. Like we would use it when the Zarya grabs and Reinhardt's still full HP. Or we would use it when Genji dives us and they just immediately throw it down. I would say that was the more frequent one where we would just rush it, go with it, and then it would just do nothing. And then there's also sometimes where we were just way too slow to react, or we had a slow reaction, which was funny in certain cases. So putting a lot more effort into that because that's basically a second ult on a cooldown, so it's really important that you do good with it, right? Use it when people are in danger, not necessarily just low, but that does affect it. Overall, probably about a medium priority for you to work on as a category. Then ult usage, use them more often. Ults that aren't used they don't get any value, right? Use them more often, you get more ults, you get more value. Then also on top of that, use it towards the start of fights. That's great timing for it. You want to be using it at the beginning of fights is where they get most value. Ults that are used first generally get more value than ults that are used second. Mid-fight is okay to use it. Late fight is situational, and then in between fights is rare to be using it. Don't use it in won or lost fights. Yep, 60% of the time you're going to use it for your team, 20% for healing purposes, 20% for you solo damaging, stuff like that. And then I pointed out a couple of different examples of those, right? Yep, that's mostly it. Overall, that one's probably about the same. Medium priority for you to work on. No, about the same. Roughly around the same area.
No, yeah, I completely get it.
Yep, then comes your mechanics. Mechanics, don't just if you're just damaging, don't randomly spam right clicks in there, right? It's not going to do nothing. It's just going to waste the ammo, and then you don't have it for when you need it. Same thing vice versa. If you're just healing your teammates, don't randomly spam shots into them, because that's what we would do. We would just hold this down and then just waste half our shots. Also, watch overhealing. Overhealing is healing anytime somebody is full HP or doesn't. There's other better things to do when somebody's close to being full. Deep left click. Put more. Just put some effort into it. Practice at it. I think we miss a lot of shots. Try to be a little bit less jittery with it as we're kind of doing this on people, right? And then on top of that, actively look for duels to take, shoot at the look for opportunities, people who are low, out of position, and then keep in mind target priority. The easiest targets to kill is what you want to be shooting at, not the hardest things to kill. Overall, I kind of want to put this one a medium too, but I need to differentiate these somehow. I guess for the moment, I would put. I suppose it's a medium. I'll give you a list at the end. Usually, I want to give you a list of the priorities, but it's they're all around the same, which isn't a bad thing. It just means that you're about equal in all the things to work on. You just don't suck at one thing the worst, which I think we might get to here in positioning. Positioning, make sure that you're using cover. Good positioning is usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Also, stick with your team, right? This is a very big thing. 10, pretty much not hard locked to it, but preference range is 10 meters from our teammates, right? That way we can shift. That way we can ult for them. That way we can heal and immortality faster and more accurately. Just overall is going to be better for you, whereas we kind of played at like this range from our team the entire game. Like we just played at 30 meters like every single fight, so be much closer to them to be able to help out.
I don't
I
think
think
we're
that's
going to make it.
mostly it that we talked about with positioning. So I'm gonna, but that like just affected a lot. Oh, also say line of sight and stick with your team. Just stick with your team and make sure you're following them. Overall, that one's probably more like a higher end of a medium, or even maybe like lower end of a medium high, but I'd probably go higher end of medium. And then finally we have awareness. Awareness is just pay attention to your audio cues and pay attention to kill feed. 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. Don't use ults in won or lost fights. And then if you've lost a fight, get out if you can, and if you can't, let them kill you. Just generally pay attention to what's people's health bars, right? This is an important one. What's the danger level of our teammates, right? What are they up to? What's our health? What's our danger level? Where the heck is everybody at? Overall, I think that you can kind of you could probably chip away at that category by working on some of the other things. Like working immortality will probably help you work on probably help you to work on danger level and health bars and whatnot. And working on overhealing will help you. That one of the big things with that is watching health bars. So overall, that one probably maybe goes like lower end of a medium. So to put that all in order for you, number 1 comes out to positioning. Number 2 probably comes out to ult usage. 3 comes out to, let's just say, a tie between mechanics and ability usage. And then number 5 comes to your awareness. Any questions?
Okay. No, I think you pretty much pointed out all my flaws that I'm making. Especially, I don't know, when I was looking at the replay, you said I was like spamming jump and like spamming shots. I was like, oh, I never even like realized that I was doing it, which is weird, but that's, yeah, definitely a lot of bad habits that I need to stop doing. So, but yeah, I definitely have a more understanding of it.
All right, glad to hear it. So, let's see.